Good morning, students. I have not made a video in a very long time, since about 2020 or 2021. Really got burnt out on them during COVID, as you can imagine. Today we're going to be walking up the Bad Branch Falls up to Mars Rock. It's really interesting because this is actually a thrust fault, and we're going to be climbing to the very top of the upthrust block of this thrust fault from about 250 million years ago. So yeah, this trail starts off easily enough. It does get a little steeper later towards the end. If there's a little huffing and puffing for me, it'll probably come in the last mile because you climb pretty steeply. Okay, just starting out, there's already a pretty big reroute on the trail since the last time I was here, which has been about 4 years. And it's really well marked though. We've now got some new blazes that are really an interesting blaze, easy to see. Okay, just early on here we got our first, what looks like a really small scale mine shaft. Could be a natural cave. I'm thinking it's a mine shaft though, because right outside of it I found this, which is more than likely coal. Could be a really dark shale, but I'm thinking it's coal, and there's some on the ground right outside of it, so I'm thinking this was a really small scale mine shaft. So one thing to remember is this can be a karst area, and with karst areas you get springs. And so here we got some water bubbling right up out of the ground here. And then this spring continues on and goes on down into the main river down there. Here we can see some rock that has not tumbled down the hill or been overturned. Hold the camera as level as I can, and we are facing roughly west. And this rock here that's got some interbedded pieces of, looks like sandstone pebbles, is sloped uphill, about 30 degrees. So this is heading up the thrust block now. All right, across Bad Branch from where we are currently is a rather massive sandstone. Kind of hard to see between the trees, the scale of it, but that's probably 30 feet thick at least, of a single bed. And it's also sloped uphill, sloped to the north, and it's part of that thrust fault that's been crushed upward. All right, we are now at the juncture where you can split off to the right and go to Bad Branch Falls. I've been to that quite a few times. It's beautiful, but today we're really concerned about geology. So we're going to keep going up to High Rock and Mars Rock. The trail gets pretty steep here, which is a good spot to take a break and admire this tilted beds of, looks like all sandstone, but there's some pretty nice features here you can kind of digest. And then one in particular, you get to see the underside of it. Watch out for falling icicles. And the kind of interbedded nature of the small beds in that sandstone. All right, I'm gonna take a breather because this is work hiking up this one. So yeah, a lot of this trail, you're just kind of hiking through the woods. One thing to notice here in a not too steep section, one, we've obviously gained some elevation because there's still some snow on the ground. It is just a few days before Christmas, 2025. Other thing, we get into these rhododendron or mountain laurel groves. And they only really occur where, one, there's very limited sunlight. So this time of year especially, this area may not get but 2 or 3 hours a day of actual sunlight. And also they tend to occur at a little higher elevation. They did not start down at the bottom of where the trailhead is. But it's a real pretty little microbiome that's pretty unique to central Appalachia. There are all sorts of neat little ridges in here that are created by rock more resistant to weathering. And you can see it creates these little runs of rock that, who knows, had a little more iron or just were somehow better compacted and cemented together. There's a chapstick tube for scale. And it creates a really interesting story of what these rocks' depositional environment might have been like. As you make the final climb up to the top, you can really see the angle that this thrust fault caused these rocks to take on about 200 or 300,000 years ago. Sorry, 200, 300 million years ago. And as you come up over the top, watch your step, because you realize you're way up above the Cumberland Plateau, or Appalachian Plateau. And all those rocks down there are flat-lying sedimentary rocks, and they have not been tilted and folded like these here. This is really the neatest landscape up here to me. It's called Mars Rock. You can probably figure out why it's called Mars Rock. There's a sign up there behind me. I'll go up there in just a second. You can see the view. But this is, again, the very top of that thrust fault block that's been thrust upward over, 50 or 60 miles here, several hundred feet up over the Appalachian Plateau. And we'll just walk up to Mars Rock, the top of it here, take in the view. Usually I sit here and have a snack, because even if it's chilly, it's usually so sunny up here, it's pretty nice. But it's really windy today. I'm a little sweaty, so I think I might get back down in elevation a little and get out of this wind before having my snack. And again, there is the Cumberland Plateau, and looking down you can see just how far this ledge has been thrust up in the air over the underlying Appalachian Plateau or Cumberland Plateau. It's the same thing. So I came from that way, which is Mars Rock. I need to follow the sign that points that way. And the blazes go across the creek. So apparently this is where my feet get wet, because I'm not crossing that and keeping my feet dry. Well, I made it across. It was either have wet feet or a sprained ankle. So now I have very wet, squishy feet that are going to be very cold. Here's that same sandstone bed from earlier across the creek here. It's lit up a little better by the afternoon sun, but you can just see how tilted it is. And all the beds are tilted up as they were thrust up over the Appalachian Plateau. I realized I totally forgot to wrap this video up in the parking lot yesterday after the hike. If you're watching this in my Earth Science or Earth Science 2 class, my condolences. Be nice to your substitute. If you're just a random person watching geology teacher videos on the internet, go ahead and subscribe and like it. Thanks.